The jungle moon was silent except for the crackling of broken metal and the hiss of steam rising from the wreck. Smoke curled into the dark sky as small fires burned across the broken alien ship. Bodies lay scattered. Some moved. Most didn't. The survivors were few, confused and scared. Cole, a human soldier with dirt on his face and cuts on his arms, stepped out of the smoke with his rifle raised. His helmet was cracked. He had lost his team. But he wasn't alone. Just behind him, standing tall with golden skin and sharp glowing eyes, was an alien girl, young, wild-looking, her hair tied in rough braids, her face full of pride and anger. Her name was Yetra. She wore armor made of light plates and cloth. It was damaged, but she held herself like a warrior. Cole looked at her as he checked the path ahead. "Stay close," he said calmly. "You're injured." "I don't need protection," she snapped, pushing his hand away. He didn't argue. He just moved forward. Around them, the trees rose high into the sky, thick and twisted. The air smelled like rotting fruit and wet stone. Every sound echoed. Every shadow moved. Other survivors were trying to regroup. Some were from the human military. Others were aliens from different planets. No one trusted each other. Fear made everyone quiet. They didn't know what lived on this moon, but something was out there. Something watching Dot as the group moved. A strange sound echoed through the trees, a low growl like a giant animal breathing from the dark. Everyone froze. Cole raised his rifle. The alien beside him held her breath. What was that? Someone whispered. Then another sound came. Closer this time. Heavy steps. Not human. Not natural. "We have to go." Someone shouted that the group started to run, but the forest wasn't easy to move through. Roots tangled their feet. The fog grew thicker, hiding the way forward. People were slipping, falling, yelling. Cole turned to help a fallen soldier, but the soldier was already gone. Dragged into the mist without a sound. He spun around. Yetra. He called. She wasn't beside him anymore. His heart jumped. He looked left, then right, then felt a weight on his back. She had jumped onto him, arms wrapped tightly around his neck, legs locked around his waist like a monkey. She was shaking but said nothing. "You said you didn't need protection." He muttered. She buried her face into his back. "This isn't protection," she whispered. "This is survival." He didn't understand, but he didn't ask. Something in her voice made him keep moving. She was no longer proud, no longer angry. She was terrified. The growl came again, closer than before. Cole ran. The trees closed in around him. The fog got heavier. He ran over roots, past glowing plants, past bodies lying still in the mud. Yetra held on tightly. Her fingers dug into his armor. Her breath was fast and shallow. Behind them, the monster followed. It didn't growl anymore. It didn't need to. It was close. Too close. Cole's lungs burned. His legs were shaking. But he didn't stop. Finally, he saw at a cliff edge ahead a sharp drop. He stopped just in time, sliding in the dirt. Yetra jumped off his back and stood beside him, breathing hard. She looked down the cliff, then back into the forest. Her glowing eyes narrowed. "We can't fight it," she said. "Not now, not here." "What is it?" Cole asked. She hesitated. "It's from my world. My kind's mistake. It feeds on fear." "And it's hunting us now?" She nodded. "It remembers my son. It remembers what I did." Cole looked at her. "What did you do?" Before she could answer, a low growl came from behind the trees again. "Later," she said. "We move now." And again, without asking, she climbed onto his back. Cole said nothing. He just ran. With every step, the question burned inside him, what was she running from? And what had she done to make it follow her across stars? The moon held its breath. The hunt had just begun. The creature in the fog. The moon didn't sleep. Even when night fell, the jungle glowed with strange lights, plants that shimmered, bugs that blinked in rhythm, and trees that moved when no wind blew. But none of it was beautiful now. Not after what had happened. They had lost 3 more people in the night. Cole didn't see their faces. One scream, then silence. No blood, no bodies. Just gone. Taken by something that didn't make noise when it hunted. Something that crept like mist and struck like lightning. The survivors sat together, backs against a broken rock wall, weapons ready, but hands shaking. They had no leader. Cole had. Taken charge only because no one else did. And because Yetra never let go of him. She still stayed close, too close for someone who claimed to not need protection. She watched the fog like it was alive, like it was whispering secrets only she could hear. Her golden eyes followed every movement, every twitch in the shadows. "What is it that's chasing us?" Cole finally asked her. "You know it. You've seen it before." Yetra didn't answer right away. She pulled a thin, sharp knife from her belt and began carving something into a tree, marks that looked like claws, circles, and eyes. Symbols. "It doesn't have a name," she said softly. "At least not one your tongue can speak." "Try." "May," Cole said. Yetra looked up at him. Her face was tight, serious. "My people called it Nalvarak. It means the one that remembers fear. It doesn't just kill. It learns you. It tastes your fear once. Then it follows it forever." Cole's jaw tightened. "So it's not just hunting us. It's hunting you." She nodded slowly. "It remembers me." The wind picked up. Fog swirled around their feet. Cole could barely see 5 meters ahead now. He stepped back, bumping into Yetra. She didn't move. "You said you fought it before?" "I didn't fight it," she said. "I escaped it. Only a few of us ever did. I was young. I was supposed to die. I didn't. That's why it hates." Suddenly, a cry rang out. Not far. One of the aliens, a 4-armed female from the mining crew, ran into the fog, shouting a name. She vanished before anyone could stop her. The group froze. No one moved. No one followed. Then came a sound that made Cole's skin crawl after. But it wasn't real. It was wrong. Like someone was pretending to laugh without knowing what. Laughter was. It echoed from the trees, growing louder, closer. The survivors scrambled to run. Cole grabbed his pack. Yetra was already at his side. "We have to get out of the open," she said. Now they ran again. Feet pounding the dirt, branches slapping their faces. The fog chased them, thick and fast, like a living wall. Cole couldn't see the others, just shadows running beside him. Some fell, some never got up. And then they found it, a massive crack in the ground. A split canyon that ran deep below the jungle floor. A path led into it, dark, narrow, and full of sharp stone. "Down there?" Cole asked, unsure. "It won't follow where it can't float," Yetra replied. "In stone it gets slower." Cole didn't like the sound of that, but they had no choice. The 2 of them, along with 3 others, an injured human, a limping bird-like alien, and a quiet girl with green skin, slipped into the narrow canyon. The fog rolled above them but didn't come in. For a moment, there was peace. Just breath. Just silence. But Cole noticed something strange as they moved deeper into the stone path. The walls glowed, faintly, with the same symbols Yetra had carved into the tree. He stopped and looked at her. "This place, you know it?" Yetra looked down. "I didn't want to come here. But yes, this was ours, a long time ago." Cole didn't like the way her voice changed, low, haunted, afraid. "Why did your people leave it?" He asked. She placed her hand on the wall, and the glow pulsed under her fingers. Because the fear never really left. And above them, just outside the canyon, the fog waited, silent, patient, hungry. Asterisk trapped in the cave with secrets, the canyon narrowed into a tunnel, dark and cold. The walls sweated moisture. The light from above faded until it was just the dim blue glow of Yetra's marks on the stone guiding them forward. Each step echoed too loud. Even whispers felt dangerous. Cole led the way, holding a flickering light in one hand, weapon in the other. Yetra followed close, her eyes scanning every inch of the walls. Behind them, the green-skinned girl, the injured human, and the bird-like alien dragged their tired feet. No one spoke, not after what they saw in the trees, but silence had its own cost. The moment they stepped deeper inside, the sound changed. It wasn't just footsteps anymore. There were whispers, low and soft, like breath across your ear, but when you turned, no one was there. Cole heard them first. Thought it was the wind. Then the green-skinned girl stopped walking. She stared at the wall. Her mouth moved. No sound came out. Then she suddenly reached for her own throat, eyes wide in terror. Cole rushed to her side, but Yetra yanked him back. "Don't touch her," she snapped. "It started." "What started?" Cole demanded. "She's hearing it now," Yetra said grimly. "The cave is waking up." The girl collapsed to her knees. She shook her head, covering her ears. The whispers were louder now. Everyone could hear them. Words in no language they knew, just emotion, anger, pain, hunger. Cole pulled the others forward. "Keep moving." They reached a wider chamber inside the cave. Strange statues stood in circle stone figures with twisted faces, arms raised as if in warning. In the center, a broken device stood, still glowing faintly. It looked alien, ancient, and dangerous. Yetra froze. "This is a memory room. What does that mean?" Cole asked. "It shows the last moments of those who came here before. You want answers? Watch." She stepped forward and touched the center of the device. The chamber lit up. Visions appeared, ghost-like images moving around them. Cole watched as a group of aliens, much like Yetra, fought inside this same room. They argued. One ran screaming. Another turned into dust. Before their eyes, the fear had taken over. They weren't fighting a creature. They were fighting each other. "It doesn't just chase us," Yetra whispered. "It infects us. It becomes our fears. It turns us against ourselves." Cole stared in horror as the memory played out, one alien slicing another in panic. The last survivor, a girl with eyes like Yetra's, carved a symbol into her own chest before the image faded. "This happened here?" Cole asked. "Yes." Yetra replied. "Long ago, before your kind even walked space." The injured man behind them started sobbing. "I can't stay here. I can't. I saw something in the fog, my sister." "But she's dead. I saw her." Cole turned sharply. "That's not real. It's the cave." The man backed away. "She talked to me. She said she missed me." Suddenly, he ran down a dark passage before anyone could stop him. "Wait!" Cole shouted, but he was gone. Yetra didn't follow. "He's already lost." Cole looked at her. "You knew this would happen." "Why come here?" "Because it's the only place where we can learn," she said. "If we don't understand it, we die like they did." He stared at her. "You were one of them, weren't you?" "One of the last to escape this place," she nodded slowly. "And I never wanted to return, but now I'm not alone." Her hand brushed against his arm. For a moment, the cave seemed to pause. The whispers slowed. The air felt still. "You control it?" he asked. "No," she said, "but it respects bond. Fear weakens us. Connection makes us harder to break." Cole didn't know what to say. Then the bird-like alien behind them gasped and pointed to one of the stone statues. Its head had turned. It was now facing them. "No one moved it," Cole said. No, Yetra said softly. It's moving itself. All. Light vanished. The whispers returned, louder than ever. And in the dark, something breathed. Asterisk Cole fights the unseen, but she's the key the darkness didn't fade. It grew heavier, like a weight pressing on their skin. Even the air felt thicker, harder to breathe, harder to think. Cole gripped his weapon tighter, but what use was a gun against something you couldn't see? The whispers had become voices. Clearer now, they spoke in the voices of loved ones, lost ones. Regrets. Cole heard his brother's voice, his brother who died 3 years ago. You left me behind, Cole. You always run. No, Cole whispered, shaking his head. That's not real. He turned to Yetra. She stood still, eyes closed, breathing slowly. Her body glowed faintly, lines of blue light traveling across. Her skin from her fingers to her temples, like vines under glass. It's inside us now, she said. It's not chasing anymore. It's feeding. The bird-like alien screamed and slammed into a wall. Then silence. The green-skinned girl dropped to the floor, eyes open but empty. Stop it. Cole shouted into the dark. Fight me for real. Then came the laugh again, mocking, broken, echoing from every wall. You can't shoot fear, Yetra said, stepping toward him. Then what do I do? He asked, voice shaking. You let me protect you now, she said, and before he could respond, she pressed both hands against his chest and leaned close. Symbols on her arms began to glow brighter, burning like fire. She reached behind him and started drawing strange shapes onto his back with her fingers slow. Careful, powerful. What are you doing? Cole asked, stiff. Marking you, she said. For the bond. I thought you didn't need protection, he said, breathing hard. She looked up into his eyes. I don't, but you do. And if I lose you, I lose myself. Before Cole could say anything else, the ground shook. Something was coming fast. Close your eyes, Yetra ordered. What? Do it. It only finds you if you see it. He obeyed. And then the world exploded. A shriek so loud it shattered a part of his mind, cut through the cave. He felt wind slam into him. Stones cracked. The heat was unbearable. But Yetra didn't move. She stayed with her hands on him, whispering words. He didn't understand. He could feel the energy between them like lightning under skin. When the sound faded, Cole opened his eyes. The cave was glowing blue. The statues were cracked and silent. The shadows had pulled back. Yetra dropped to her knees, exhausted, her skin dim again. She looked weak, pale. Cole knelt beside her. What was that? The bond protected you, she whispered, but it drained me. Is it over? He asked. She looked toward the dark corridor ahead. No, that was only a piece of it, a test. Cole helped her up. Her legs were shaking. He didn't ask. Permission. He wrapped her arms around his shoulders and carried her, just like she had clung to him before. She didn't fight him this time. You saved me, Cole said. Yetra leaned her head against his neck. No, I saved us. It only stops hunting when it senses unity. Fear breaks the soul, but if we become one mind, it loses power. Cole took a breath. The others were gone now, either dead or lost to their own nightmares. Only he and Yetra remained. What now? He asked. We climb, she said, pointing toward a narrow path leading upward. There's an old tower above this cave. If it still works, it can hide us or destroy it. And if it doesn't work, then we make our final stand together. He nodded. Then we better hurry. As Cole walked, her arms locked tighter, around him again like before. But this time, there was no fear in her touch. There was trust, and in the silent shadows behind them, the true form of the hunter watched. No longer just mist, no longer just voice, it had shape now, because it feared them, Escape or be eaten alive, the cave spat them out into open air, but there was no relief. The sky above was black, not with night, but with clouds rolling in fast like waves. The wind had changed. It carried a sharp smell now. Burnt metal, ash, and blood. Cole's grip on Yetra tightened as he climbed the jagged slope. She was weak, but awake. Her eyes scanned the horizon like a soldier reading a battlefield. They had made it out of the cave, but the nightmare hadn't stayed behind. It was coming. Behind them, the canyon trembled. Small rocks tumbled down the slope. Cole didn't look back. Yetra had told him once, "Don't look back. Fear grows from what we stare at too long." Ahead, rising like a broken tooth from the land, stood the tower. It looked ancient, part machine, part bone, almost like it had grown from the earth itself. Vines clung to its sides. Strange lights flickered deep inside. It leaned slightly, damaged from war or time or something worse. "That thing still works?" Cole asked between breaths. Yetra nodded weakly. "It was built for war, by my ancestors. Hidden from the enemy. It can cloak us. Maybe even trap the beast." Cole stared at the tower. "Why didn't your people use it before?" She looked down. They were too afraid. To reach it, lightning flashed behind them. A shape flickered in the clouds. Not solid. Not yet. But real enough to freeze the blood. Cole ran. The ground grew steeper. His boots slipped on wet stone, but he didn't stop. Yetra whispered directions in his ear: left, right, avoid that route, duck here. Her breath was hot on his neck. Her hands gripped him tighter every time the sky roared. Then a scream tore through the air, inhuman, wide, full of hunger. It wasn't close. It was above them. Cole turned his head just enough to see it. The shadow beast had shape now, like smoke wrapped in bone, with wings of jagged light. It didn't fly. It hovered like gravity had given up on it. Its face was always changing, sometimes Yetra's, sometimes Cole's dead brother, sometimes nothing at all. "Run faster!" Yetra cried. They reached the base of the tower. A circular door sealed shut. Cole slammed his fist on it. "Open! Open, damn it!" Yetra slid down from his back and placed her hand on the wall. Her veins lit up against soft blue like moonlight. The tower groaned. The door hissed open. They rushed inside. The air was thick with dust and silence. Old control panels blinked to life. The floor vibrated under their feet. Yetra fell to her knees. Cole knelt beside her. "You okay?" She looked at him, sweat on her brow. "The tower responds to bloodlines. It heard me, but it won't help us unless I stay linked." A thunderclap shook the walls. The monster had landed outside. "We're out of time," Cole muttered. He ran to the console, scanning symbols he didn't understand. Yetra crawled forward and touched a metal panel. The room filled with a deep hum, then a voice, robotic and ancient, spoke in her language. "What's it saying?" Cole asked. "It's asking if we wish to seal the hunter," she replied. Cole looked at the walls, the blinking lights, the trembling floor. "Can we survive it?" "I don't know," she said. "But if we don't try, we'll never know anything again." Outside, the tower shook harder. Parts of the walls cracked. The shadow was wrapping itself around the structure like a snake trying to squeeze them out. Cole looked at Yetra. She was glowing again, but dimmer than before. "You'll die if you stay linked too long," he said. She smiled faintly. "I'd rather die here with you than run alone." He moved beside her, placed his hand over hers on the console. The glow doubled. The tower responded. From deep inside, something ancient woke up. A pulse shot out like a heart beating once for the first time in centuries. The shadow shrieked. It tried to retreat, but it was too late. The tower closed, locked, sealed, and the world went quiet. For the first time since the crash, they couldn't hear it anymore. But the question remained, what had they just sealed with them? She was more than alien, she was weaponized. The tower was silent again. Too silent. No whispers, no growls, no shifting shadows. Just the slow hum of ancient systems breathing beneath stone and metal. Cole sat against a wall, catching his breath, eyes fixed on the door they had just sealed shut. He didn't know if it would hold. He didn't know if they bought time or just delayed death. Yetra lay beside him, still, eyes closed, her skin pale and her breath shallow. Her body had gone cold the moment she activated the seal. He had carried her to the corner of the chamber, afraid to shake her, afraid to see nothing in her eyes when they opened. But then her hand moved. "I'm not gone," she whispered. Cole leaned in close. "You scared me." She gave a tired smile. "Good. Fear means you care." He let out a weak laugh. "I thought you said fear weakens us." "It does. Unless it's fear of losing someone." She sat up slowly, touching her temple as if her head ached. Her veins still glowed faintly, but not with fear, not anymore. There was strength there, a calm power. Cole studied her face. "What are you, Yetra? Really?" She looked into his eyes. "You think I'm just a girl who ran from a monster. But I wasn't always that. I was built to face it." "Built?" He asked, confused. "My people made weapons, living ones. I'm one of them." Cole's breath caught. "You were created to fight that thing?" She nodded. "We lost our war because we made too many like me, and didn't teach us how to feel anything but rage. I escaped before they erased the rest of me, before I became just another weapon. And that thing we sealed? It hunts anything that remembers, that feels. The others like me were too broken to resist it, but I'm different now." Her hand touched his. "Because I bonded, because of you." Cole didn't speak. He couldn't. Everything was shifting. The girl who clung to him like a scared child was never weak. She had been holding back the storm the whole time. "Why didn't you tell me?" he finally asked. "Would you have trusted me?" She replied, "Would anyone?" He thought about it and realized he didn't know. Yetra stood, slowly but stronger than before. She moved to the center of the chamber where the console still blinked. The alien writing was changing. Lines became curves. Symbols moved like rivers across the panel. "It's rewriting itself," she said, "responding to me." "To your blood?" Cole asked. "No," she said with a small smile. "To my choice." She reached behind her neck and pulled back part of her armor. There, carved into her skin, were symbols old, burned in long ago, marks of her creation. They glowed faintly, until she took Cole's hand and pressed it to her back. The marks changed. They stopped glowing. They dissolved into her skin. Cole stared, stunned. "What did you just do?" "I broke the chain," she said. "They made me to be a weapon, but you helped me choose something else. Something more." The tower began to rumble again, but this time not from danger. A hatch opened above them. Light poured in. Daylight. "It's opening," Cole whispered. Yetra turned toward him, her eyes softer now, no longer wild. "The tower accepts us. We've passed the test." "Test?" he asked. It wanted to see if we were prey or partners. If we could trust, not just run. Outside, the sky was clearing. The clouds pulled back. The strange jungle, though still full of danger, now looked calmer. Cole took a deep breath. "So, what now?" Yetra looked up toward the opening. "Now we go back, not to run, not to hide, but to lead. Others will come here one day, and they'll need to know they're not alone." "And what about the monster?" Cole asked. She turned to him with a fire in her eyes. "Next time. We won't just seal it. We'll finish it." And for the first time since the crash, Cole didn't feel like a soldier fighting to survive. He felt like part of something greater. He felt ready. She clings again, but this time, it's for war. The tower had opened, but the world outside wasn't the same. The sky was now blood orange. Strange lights floated above the trees like fireflies that didn't blink. The jungle was quiet, not peaceful, but waiting. Watching. Cole stepped out first, rifle ready. Yetra followed, calm and unafraid, the wind brushing her hair back as if the planet itself now knew who she was. They had survived, but the story wasn't over. The monster they had sealed in the tower wasn't gone, not truly. It had only left a piece of itself behind. Its core was still out there. And now something worse had begun. Every tree they passed was twisted, as if burned from the inside. The sky pulsed, slow and steady, like a heartbeat. Beneath the clouds, Cole saw at first a floating shard of black crystal lodged into a tree trunk. It pulsed with dark light. "What is that?" he asked. Yetra didn't answer right away. She walked up to it, placed her hand on it, and the glow stopped. "It's a seed," she said. "The beast plants fear like roots. It grows in places touched by memory and pain. Soon, this jungle will birth another." Cole's eyes widened. "So there's more?" "Yes," she replied. "Unless we burn the roots." Suddenly, a sound echoed from above, wings flapping, but not natural. Something part machine, part flesh, descended from the clouds. It wasn't the same shadow beast, but it looked like its child. A scout. A warning. Cole raised his rifle, but it was too fast. It struck him hard, knocking the weapon away. He rolled into the dirt, dazed. Before the beast could finish him, Yetra moved. She didn't run. She leaped out straight onto Cole's back, arms tight around his chest, legs wrapped around his waist, just like that first day in the jungle. But this time, it wasn't fear that made her cling. It was fire. Symbols lit up along her skin as her body pressed against his. Energy flowed into Cole like a second heartbeat. His eyes widened. His hands steadied. The beast dove. And Cole fired not bullets, but light. A burst of energy shot from his palms, striking the creature mid-air. It exploded in a cloud of sparks and black dust. Breathing heavily, Cole dropped to one knee. Yetra slid down beside him, smiling. "See?" she said. "You carry more than just me now." "What was that?" He gasped. "A fusion," she said. "You protected me. Now I return the gift." More shapes appeared in the sky. More creatures coming. Cole stood, shoulders square. "Then we fight." Yetra walked beside him, her hands glowing like fire, her gaze strong and steady. "We don't just fight, we lead." They found a signal beacon nearby, part of the original crash site. Yetra reached into its control panel, sending out a frequency not meant for distress, but for gathering. A message beamed into the sky. In every direction. It was time for humans, aliens, survivors, and fighters to unite, not just to run from the monsters, but to turn and face them. Together. The jungle trembled again, but this time, Cole wasn't scared, and as Yetra placed her hands on his shoulders, clinging once more like that wild, fierce girl who first shouted, "I don't need protection," he smiled, because now she didn't, and neither did he. They weren't running anymore. They were the storm.